believe you're in
Morning.
Poland this morning. Just tell us a little bit, good morning, just tell us a little bit about what you're doing there, first of all.
Sure. I think about the third day of the war. I noticed a Latvian friend of mine who has a logistics company was trying to organize to move people from the Polish border, where they were in these sort of large warehouses sleeping on beds, to Berlin, to Paris, to Luxembourg, and to Riga. So I sort of sent him a message and said, I'm going to come and join you. I came out here and we started working. And then we noticed that there was a bottleneck building up around Lviv. And so we then got 2 buses into Ukraine and started moving people from Lviv. And then we expanded from there and then went further to the east, to Venetia. And so far, I think in the past 3.5, 4 weeks, we've managed to move about 6,383 women and children to safety, including 70 orphans.
It's one thing, Brooks, you know, taking refugees from Poland or Hungary or some bordering country on Ukraine, but you're heading deep into Ukraine. We hear that you're also going to go further in, maybe to Kharkiv. Isn't that just too dangerous, surely, in a war zone?
Well, let's be clear. At this stage, this is what I've been doing here in Warsaw, is that I've got a friend of mine who, and we're working with the government in Kiev to make sure that whatever roads that we use to transport people are safe. You know, the most important thing is that we don't want to take people effectively from the frying pan to the fire. And we've heard already some horrendous stories where Russian soldiers have indiscriminately shot women and children in cars trying to escape. So I think the most important thing is that if we're going to do something, that it must be done securely. So that's really at this stage what my focus is. Once we know we have a secure route, we then have now, I've got 3 buses. We're trying to get 3 more buses because while at the moment the train service is working fairly well from Lviv and from Kiev, moving to the Polish border, where people really are stuck are those who've escaped from Mariupol, have moved a little further to the west, are in small towns, but can't get out from there. So I'm trying to figure out a way, how do we do that, but how do we do that safely? So that's been my priority at the moment.
What you're doing is so amazing. So many people sit and watch the news and want to help, and you're putting into practice exactly what you preach, and many will admire you for it. I just want to get your opinion because, of course, you also were a minister in a previous life, and I just wondered what you think of the way the UK government have been handling this crisis, and specifically in the last 24 hours we've heard from our Foreign Secretary, Liz Truss, and she's been saying that she wants to see maximum sanctions being imposed, and she's trying to urge members of the G7 to try and stop that dependence on Russian gas and oil that is, of course, funding the Russian war machine. I mean, are these words, are we doing enough?
Well, I think Liz Truss is absolutely right. And I think, you know, the problem is that, you know, as the war goes on, energy prices go up and we're all feeding the monster by continuing to buy energy from Russia. Now, the bigger problem is that notwithstanding the sanctions, if you look at energy consumption, which is being exported from Russia, it has not changed a bit. I mean, literally not a dime. So Putin is still getting the money to fund his war machine. I think my bigger criticism really goes to the likes of India that have you know, are now taking on the energy that maybe we may not be taking on, or China. And I think that if we have sanctions, it's got to be globally. You know, we can't just simply be virtue signaling in the West by saying we're not going to do something if it's actually having no impact. And at the moment, it's not really having an impact. It's got to be a global effort. And we've got to work really through the UN as well to try and make this happen.
Well, really fascinating to get your perspective. Really appreciate, Brooks Newmark, you taking the time to talk to us this morning, and we wish you the best of luck with hosting Ukrainian refugees in your own home as well. I understand that's something you've committed to do.
If I could have one last message to the Home Secretary.
Yeah.
Can I have one last message? I managed to, the daughter who applied got her visa last week, but the mother still hasn't got her visa. So they're still stuck in the middle of Ukraine trying to get out. So I'm going to implore my MP, who happens to be the Home Secretary, to try and see if we can get the other visa so both mother and daughter can be with us for Easter.
Keep us posted on that progress. Really interesting to talk to you. Thank you, Brooks Newmark.